Welcome on stage, Mounir Ladki, co-founder, president, and CTO of MYCOM OSI. Mounir is going to be talking about 5G slicing and presenting a roadmap for success. Full round of applause for Mounir.
So, good afternoon. Just for those of you who don't know about MYCOM OSI, so we're a service assurance company. And today we pride ourselves to be assuring some of the largest networks in the world, from the likes of Airtel and Reliance Jio in India, to Verizon in the US, to some of the largest tier 1 networks in Europe. So this afternoon I'd like to talk to you a little bit about a topic that is quite controversial right now and doesn't have good publicity. So it takes a good dose of goodwill to be the advocate of 5G slicing right now, because we hear so many bashing, slicing bashing right now, which is quite maybe normal. And I'm trying, based on our experience, what I'll try to do in the next 20 minutes is to give you some of the ingredients that we believe will be necessary for the success of 5G slicing, and for 5G slicing to start delivering some of the promise, the business, especially on the business value side, that we'd expect. So, first of all, let's look at the situation today. Our aspiration as an industry is the left-hand side, right? What are we talking about when we talk about slicing? We think that we, as an industry, will be able, and the CSPs will be able to generate hundreds, maybe thousands of custom slices delivered dynamically for specific tenants to address specific use cases, transform industry, and generate revenue streams, and fuel the growth of our industry. That's the promise and the ambition, and this is what we talk about when we discuss slicing. But in reality, if we look at the situation, which is more the other side, today we can see that mostly few operators have deployed 5G SA with few static slices only, addressing very specific use cases, no monetization, typically one slice for enterprise or one slice for a specific event, done manually, of course. And also, we can see that there are a lot of debates as to whether 5G slicing is necessary, whether it is better to do private mobile networks, and so on. And the inflationary pressures right now that we're all under also are kind of limiting the investment that can be allocated in that area. So what is the roadmap of success? When we ask the operators, where do they see the challenge? Where the challenges, and this is by heavy reading for implementing slicing, we can summarize 3 categories of problems. Number 1, what is the value for the end customer? And we've heard it yesterday. People saying, oh, we are second-guessing the value. We don't know exactly what is the value for the end user, for the industry, for example, or the enterprise that we're trying to serve. Number 1, identify the value for the end customer, i.e. the enterprise vertical. Second, once we have done that, how are we going to monetize it? How are we going to make money out of it to justify the investment? And third, how are we going to deliver it? It's utterly complex. We've heard it throughout this conference, how the complexity of delivering these, especially if we have to deliver them at scale. So if we address these 3 problems, but they need to be addressed, the 3 of them at the same time. If you address 2 out of the 3, you will not get there. We have to address all 3. And starting with the value. So where is the value, right? Well, we have multiple use cases and industry verticals that justify the need for 5G slicing, be it for the security that it provides, the latency, the massive machine-type communication that it delivers. I'll give 2 examples. One is on the media side, and we have done, it's based on a trial that we've done with the broadcasting industry in some sports events, for example, where in the mountains, etc., you need 5G connectivity to be able to stream live. And just yesterday, I don't know if you've heard, Vodafone announced a slice royale because they apparently a slice will be allocated to the media for the coverage of the coronation ceremony, which is a fantastic news. But the other one that I want to talk about is the aviation industry. And this is something that we've done with in partnership with BT. It's a TM Forum sponsored project, Catalyst project, that we've done with BT, with the CIO of Heathrow Airport, and with other ecosystem players. And the interesting part is this, because when the CIO of the ex-CIO of Heathrow Airport was the subject matter expert who gave us the business objectives. He said, I have 4 business objectives. I want to minimize the aircraft turnaround time. And how I do that, I'd need very high-speed connectivity to collect data from all the sensors, and so that our maintenance team gets ready to work on the plane and to, as soon as it lands, and so we minimize the time that maintenance operation takes. Second, I want to reduce the passenger transit time in the airport. So depending on the flow of passengers, they would reallocate they would reconfigure the airport, the desks, and so on, in order to fluidify that traffic. Third, I want to maximize the experience of my frequent flyers. So for example, in case of a plane delay, I want to offer free of charge connectivity, enhanced connectivity to the passengers, to the frequent flyers. And number 4, when I have fulfilled these 3 objectives and I still have excess capacity, I want to sell it to the passengers in the airport, and I want to make money out of it. So these are the enterprise objectives. They don't care about the slice and the connectivity, etc. But if we help them meet these objectives, then the slicing will be a success. And to help them meet these objectives, it means that we have to monitor these objectives. Now, in practice, what we've done, working with an ecosystem of partners on the orchestration side, the billing and charging, etc., we went and we implemented this use case that we see here that starts with the customer themselves through a portal requesting the slices that they need based on, for example, the traffic flow in the airport, based on the need to maintain the aircraft and so on. And these slices were being then monitored in a proactive way. And whenever, from an assurance perspective, we saw that there was like a degradation or a violation of some of the SLAs or a negative trend, a closed loop integration with the orchestrator meant that new slices were provisioned, business policies were enforced, and the loop was closed. And the reporting we made back was on those KPIs here. So in summary, this tells us that if we want to make it a success, we need to speak the language of the customer, of the enterprise, and we need to combine the business side metrics together with the connectivity metrics. One alone, if we told them we meet the SLA on the connectivity alone, then it's not enough. It's not compelling enough, and we need to find a way to combine both. That is very important, and have an SME and a champion who comes from the industry. And because we cannot figure it out alone. We need that expertise coming. Once we've done that, and we have achieved, we have defined the value and achieved the use case, the second thing is how are we going to monetize it? How are we going to make money out of it? And here, there are 2 or 3 models that emerge. Number 1, most of the people, when surveyed in our industry, think that they will make the money, 1, from selling QoS parameters, quality of service, and SLAs, which is the most obvious thing you can think of, or from selling a flat, like a subscription fee for the slice. Now, yesterday we heard also, I'm not going to repeat, how difficult it is to assure the NSLA in this context, in the context of a containerized 5G core, a disaggregated network with a part that is residing in the telco cloud. We need to dynamically orchestrate the underlying transport. So it's quite complex, but that part, having an assurance architecture that allows to, monitor and assure that SLA end-to-end is quite crucial. But what I want to focus on is something also different, is to say, fine, let's monitor and assure these qualities of service parameters and this SLA, but what kind of new innovative models, business models, that we can put in place? And I want to talk about 2 of them. One is something that you that we're hearing about, which is transforming the model from only being a communication service provider to a data provider. Because we, as an industry, are collecting a lot of data. I talked about Airtel just before. For example, on a network like Airtel or Geo, we collect, just on the network performance side, more than 150 billion data records an hour. Imagine the size of data that we have. This data can be exposed dynamically through open interfaces to application developers. What they will do with it, for example, like the on-demand quality of service API or the device location, what they can do with it is they can adjust the behavior of their application to make the most of the network performance that is available. Or, depending on the congestion and the traffic levels, etc., they can adjust the behavior of the application to deliver the best possible experience to the user. We just heard it this morning in the presentation, I think, from STL partners, that today the network operators are expected to make, or there is a forecast that they will make $22 billion from the various APIs by 2028. $22 billion. Now, this is only a forecast, but when you look into what kind of APIs, what's the breakdown of that revenue, almost a third comes from network performance and quality of service that appear as the most valuable data asset that operators have today and can monetize in the coming years. But these need to be put in place because those really will bring some of that revenue stream that will fuel the investment in the slicing. And the recent announcement by the GSMA of the new open, this open gateway initiative goes into that direction. The other one is evolving not only from a CSP to a data provider model, but also evolving from a CSP to an MSP model, a managed services provider model. And this is also a project that we've done with an energy optimization company in France. So they come, they go to the consumer homes, they install solar panels, they install smart plugs across the home, and the thermostat. And what is a smart thermostat? And the promise is, you get all your need in terms of water heating and so on, and a normal, the heating of the house, but you will save 30 to 50% of your energy bill, which is something very relevant today. But for them to deliver that service, imagine they have all these IoT devices at home, connected to a controller, an intelligent controller, connected to a CPE at home, back to the network connectivity, to the cloud, where you have all the kind of the processing happening, etc. Now, it could have been at the edge as well, but for them, this is the thing. And then, if anything in that chain breaks, then the whole service is not delivered, and the consumer will end up without hot water. Who will guarantee that service from an end to end? Well, we believe that the CSP, and we modeled with our own platform, we modeled that service end to end for them, and we delivered it. But then, we don't have the scale to do it. CSPs today can be that managed service provider for all these industries. And they can assure and secure, etc., those services from an end to end, and then share a portion of the revenue with those different kind of industrial partners, such as this energy optimization company. And that model, this is another example, is a really example how CSPs can leverage all the capabilities they have, like their monitoring and assurance capabilities, to generate those revenue streams that will, again, help fuel the investment in the slicing. Now, the third part of the third pillar, right? We talked about one, identifying value use cases and proving the value to the end user, to the industrial company. Second is finding a way to monetize it, to monetize that value that we are creating. The third one is, of course, simplifying and automating the operational model, because it's very complex and it is virtually impossible to deliver these slices at scale. And again, here, I don't want necessarily to repeat all what we heard over these 2 days. Everybody is saying that they started automation initiatives, why automation is so important. We, with some of our customers, for example, in Asia Pacific, we have achieved 100%, not even 99%, but 100% auto-ticketing of all the service impacting, for example, tickets and problem. So this is something that is right now behind us. It's available, it can be done, everybody is doing. A lot of the use cases are being systematically automated in the network operations center, starting with workflow-based automation, and that's fine. Not everything needs AI, by the way, NML, etc. You don't need to invest massively in AI and ML for everything. We can start with workflow-based automation, right? There are things that don't evolve. They don't need constant learning. It's just simple, basic type automation, but can be done in a systematic way. And you have the more kind of advanced or complex automation use cases that require artificial intelligence and machine learning and require you to invest in that. And again, here, assurance based on AI ML is evolving. And the result is that we can achieve 10x operational efficiency. In order of magnitude, this is kind of where we need to go to make that operational model viable for delivering the slices. And in terms of, again, bringing it back to the slice, this means that you automate the entire slice lifecycle. And this is what we've done on that Heathrow Airport use case. One, you have your planning, the slice planning that is automated to reduce time to market. Once the slice is planned, then you automate its provisioning, again, to reduce the time to service, and you need to have zero-touch fulfillment. Then you need to have frictionless assurance, i.e., through interfaces like Tosca, for example, you expose this new slice that is provisioned is exposed to the assurance system. So the assurance system can start monitoring and assuring it automatically. Once that slice is activated, again, you can, through the integration between assurance and orchestration, you can do reactive closed loop, i.e., when you detect a problem, right, an SLA violation or some degradation of some sort, right, an intent-based request is sent to the orchestrator to update the slice or to spin up a new slice, etc., depending on what the problem is. And then from there you move to the proactive slice management, like closed loop slice management, which is, okay, I predict what is going to happen. I predict through AI and ML what is my traffic needs are going to be and where the quality of service is going to be. And then I put a proactive request to the orchestrator in order to maintain always a steady user experience. And finally, this system also integrates with the billing and charging to adjust the tarification plans and the billing of the customers. So that kind of automation is what is required to make it happen. And finally, if we were to look at one event to start with, right, I would say let's start with the special events. Again, it's all based on live experience that we're having right now with one of our customers in Asia Pacific. Last year, we've helped them to monitor and manage the slice that they used to carry all the traffic for the Formula One race happening in that country. But it was one slice delivering only EMBB type requirement. Now, the thinking is, let's go to the next step. We have 3 different personas in that special event. We have the fans who want to consume EMBB type immersive experiences. We have the racing teams who needs more MMTC type slices to carry all the sensor traffics, etc., to manage the race, because they're measuring a lot of data on the cars, etc., and they want to just use it to win the race. And 3, we have the media, as we discussed before, who will want to stream the event live and who will then need a URLLC type slice to do it. And so we have 3 personas, 2 of them that we can monetize, mostly with the racing teams and the media. One with the fans is maybe lesser of a monetization opportunity, but can be part of their packages. And this is now the next step, is let's use it. Let's apply the automation that I've just talked about together with the, and make it predictive together with the AI/ML on top to deliver a service to these three constituents. And even if those slices are manual, they will not be dynamic. They will be created manually initially, but with some of that level of operational automation will deliver the business objectives to the three of them, and at least there are two of them that will create new revenue streams. I think every operator in every country has many special events happening during the year, and that create in itself a live POC, a live lab for validating not only how we can deliver these slices on the operational side, but how we can monetize them and the value that we can create and the revenue streams. And as I mentioned, on Saturday, let's see what will happen with the streaming of the coronation ceremony and how this all will shape up. So thank you. At the end, to wrap up, 3 things: value use cases for the customers with clear outcomes created. Second, find the ways to monetize it and automate to deliver it successfully. 3 ingredients. We can start small and then grow, but we need them the 3 together from day one. Thank you.